This episode of Shooting from the Lip is brought to you by the County Line, Louisville's last honky-tonk bar, located at 1891 Old Preston Highway in Hillview, Kentucky. Manager and bartender Chris Lucien invites you to check out live music every weekend, Friday and Saturday nights. Check out their Facebook page, The County Line. Mention Shooting from the Lip on Friday nights and get Jack Daniel's Honey for $3.
Shooting from the Lip features views and opinions from smart, funny, serious, and not so serious people. This show is intended for a mature and not so mature audience. Enjoy the show!
What is up, everyone? Kevin Hale back in the Shooting from the Lip studio on this Monday night, September 12th, 2016. It is the latest and greatest edition with my tag team partner for these Monday night shows, Russ Hinkle. Russ, what is up?
What's going on, Kevin? Just another Monday fun day work week.
I'm trying to look at the last time we've actually done a show. I think it's been about 3 weeks since you and I have been on a show together. So holiday, and I think you were out of town 1 week. So all good.
Yeah, I was on assignment in San Antonio for a while there.
On assignment, work, right? The real world. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the reality of who we are. Some social media plugs. You can find our show on iTunes and YouTube. We're also on the SoundCloud and Stitcher apps. Twitter at The Shooting Lip. My Twitter at KevinHale423. At Reality Russ is Mr. Hinkle's Twitter. You can also like us, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Shooting from the Lip. Live tonight via Blog Talk Radio. You know, one thing I do miss, Russ, in having you, doing shows with you is your words, your opinions, your views on things. And one of the things, I've got several topics to throw at you before we go into our segments. Real quick, first segment, Russ, 10:15, the Derby City Roller Girls. We got 4 of the ladies going to come on and talk to us about their gig. Yeah, it's gonna be cool because the names they gave me of the ladies coming on are crazy. They're over the top. I can't wait for that segment. The second segment, a friend of mine, I think he's been on the show with you as well, is a guy named Chase Skinner. He's a local musician, Nashville recording artist. A couple guys from his band will be coming on and promoting. They're part of the opening act for Bret Michaels when he's in town doing a gig. I gotta look at the date, but we'll be talking to them. But Chase Skinner's band and Shane Dawson will be opening for Bret Michaels. I know one of your favorite frontmen of '80s hair band fame.
Oh yeah. That's Molly Crew, isn't it?
No, close. Poison.
Okay. Well, yeah. I was more of a rap fan during those days.
I know. Let's jump in before we got about 10 minutes for our first segment. Yesterday, 9/11. Obviously, it's a day that will live forever in infamy with. If that's the right word, within the U.S., actually probably worldwide too. Do you remember where you were 15 years ago, Russ, when all this went down?
Yeah, I do, and it's so cliche now. I've seen, everybody thinks that they're coming up with something new on Facebook by asking that question. And I was actually in St. Louis, Missouri, running a roofing company, or actually running sales for an insurance restoration contractor, and was with my ex-wife at the time, and just heard it on the radio, sitting outside, and thought, it was kind of surreal. And, I get the whole thing, but it's like, are they going to do this every year? What is this, what
15th.
Year anniversary? Is it even, the 15th year
it's
anniversary?
15th, yeah.
Wow, that just means I'm freaking old.
Yeah, I mean, in some crazy way, the fact that 15 years has gone by, and I do I do remember it pretty clearly. From my being at work when it all happened, and being at home that night with at that time my ex-wife as well, and the kids, and it was a pretty dramatic and crazy day. So with that said, since then there's been a lot of theories and notions of what really happened. In 30 seconds or less, Russ, is there a conspiracy theory? Do you buy into any of the conspiracy theories with 9/11?
No, not at all. I mean, none whatsoever. The conspiracy is people. I think there's a conspiracy about the conspiracy theories. It's like these people are trying to make it look like this so that people vote for idiots like Trump. That would be my guess.
Fair enough. Colin Kaepernick, the San Francisco quarterback who struck a nerve with a lot of U.S. folk, if you will, by kneeling or sitting, actually, during the national anthem. This was several weeks ago. But since then, a lot of his peers in the NFL are doing the same. What's your take on Kaepernick? Is he disrespecting the flag, or is it more that he's taking a stance and trying to bring some attention to the issues at hand? So,
well, I mean, I don't care. First off, I'll say I don't care what anybody wants to do, how they want to express themselves, blah blah blah. I don't care. Makes no difference to me. I mean, anybody should be able to sit, stand, or pick their nose through any song that plays, regardless. Unless you're at a funeral or something where it's the family expects some kind of certain amount of respect, and you just need to leave if you're not going to show that kind of respect at a smaller event like that. But as far as what he does, I don't care. But I think I do have a critique of his tactics, because all he's doing is he's doing this, and I think he's made some statements about why, and the writer of the song. And I mean, the thing about it is, your average American, 99.9% of all Americans don't even know who wrote the song. I've read it probably twice within the last 2 weeks, and I can't even remember who wrote the song. So it doesn't matter, what, if they were a slaveholder or, whatever. I mean, the intent, the evolution of that song is, pride and meaning to the American people. And, that's what it is. So do I think he should be able to express himself? Absolutely. Do I think he's going to pay a price, and maybe should pay a price for the way he's choosing to express himself? Possibly. He's in the limelight. He's going to have to pay, if people quit buying his jerseys or people protest him or whatever, then, that's just part of the fallout.
Well, so, check this out, Russ. Do you know his jersey actually is the top selling jersey right now in the NFL? So it's resonating. My point. Possibly to buy, to burn, whatever. But ultimately, the fanatics of the league, the fans out there, whether it's for to say, to be, being a fan of his or protesting him, it's working as far as the sales go, because when it comes to business is business, and at the bottom line is making money. So his jersey is doing that. So speaking of football, one of the us being a University of Kentucky graduate, us both being UK fans, the football program this past Saturday took it on the chin and then some at Florida. There's been a outcry that it is time to move in a different direction with the coach, Mark Stoops, the coach, who has a $12 million buyout, Russ. The fan base, he's clearly has lost a lot of the fan base in their game coming up this Saturday against New Mexico State. I think a lot of fans are going to speak. It's going to be far from it. Ticket sales, it might be I don't even think it's a sellout, but as far as true attendance goes, I can see half the stadium empty. Your take real quick on Mark Stoops, and is it time for a change?
Well, I mean, as far as the program goes, oddly enough, I haven't heard anything negative about Mark Stoops all that much, which is, I don't understand because, as you well know, not one time, not one time have I wanted him not to succeed, but not one time have I've been satisfied with the selection of Mark Stoops. I mean, we're a Division I school, SEC school, and we got a guy that never had been a head coach before. That's just. I don't know how, I've heard people try to spin that and say, oh, well, pedigree. Yeah, well, pedigree is for animals that look like each other, not for human beings. It's for to try to get, a horse that can show some. Now, if you say, hey, can he run as fast or hit as hard or, do physical stuff as well as his brother and his dad? Probably so. Coaching is not one of those things. Brain, the mind is a different thing, and especially when it's not tried and proven in a head coach position. But so yeah, I've never been not a Mark Stoops fan, but I thought there was a lot of hype surrounding him, and he's had a few opportunities to put it together. And I mean, he hasn't done terrible. He's done probably as expected, as any mediocre coach that comes into Kentucky is going to do. I haven't been, too impressed with, anybody. Who is it? It's not Guy Morris, but the older guy.
Rich Brooks.
Rich Brooks. Yeah, Rich. I wish he had about 4 or 5 years left. More in him. If he could have stayed for about 4 or 5 more years, I think the direction he was headed in may have not been, a premier program, but it would have been. He was steadily on a steady incline. It seemed like he was on steadily inclining, and to be a better program. And, every other coach is going to have a year that looks like we might be good and it's mediocre, a year that, we're just not going to be good. And then maybe another year that like, hey, we got some recruits, we're starting to build. And then, it's just a small up and down, thing with UK, I think, in football, and until we revamp something completely.
Well said. As we're getting ready to jump into our first segment, Russ, I do want to share something. I don't know have you ever been to Italy?
I have not been across the pond to any of I've not been to Europe at all.
Okay. We'll check this out. Whether it applies to you down the road or not, or maybe to anybody there. Do you know it's as of last week, I read that public masturbation is no longer criminal in Italy.
Really?
You okay with? Yeah. Yes. And I've researched it on several sites, and CNN reported it, USA Today reported it, Snopes acknowledged it. So yes, in the past, jerking off was you could be sentenced to however amount of time, but now it's not a crime. Again, I don't know how this could apply to either one of us, but something to keep in mind.
If you're at the nude beach in Italy, I'd say it could be very applicable.
Well, that's a good point too. That's a good point. I forgot about that. Anyways,
but yeah, good news.
Moving on.
Your perspective.
Yeah. All right, Russ. This first segment, I thought when I came across them on Facebook, their information, I thought, man, this would be a great segment. Lots of probably some cool, crazy personalities. And I reached out to them, and one of the individuals that responded back to me, got it cleared that they can come on and promote themselves. And what's cool, Russ, is they all have their own persona with their own names to go with their roller girl things. So I'd like to. I think I know some of the people coming on, but I'm gonna start with ReXXy, who I've been in contact with. ReXXy, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How are you?
I am very good. We just got out of practice.
Practice. Is there a little sore? How physical is practice?
Say it again.
I said, how physical is practice?
Oh, it's pretty physical. We had a bloody nose tonight, so it can be pretty physical.
Russ, what do you know of the Derby City Roller Girls?
Well, I I've actually, I think it was several years ago, we were at some bar in the Highlands of the Monkey Ranch. I think we were at the Monkey Ranch, Mallory and some of her friends and myself, and some of them actually came in. I don't know if it was after a game or a match or whatever, but that's my only experience. But I'm somewhat familiar with roller derby, although it's been probably since the late 80s since I used to see it on TV every now and then late at night in the late 80s here in Louisville. It was pretty neat.
It is pretty neat. So ReXXy, share, let everyone say who they are, and we'll start with you, ReXXy. What is your name, title, and your whole persona, and then let's share with the rest of them.
I'm ReXXy Dangerfield. My number used to be R2D2 until the new rules changed, and now it's 22. I've been playing for 6 years, and I'm the coach of the River City Junior League as well.
I'm Jeni
Next.
Carr. I'm number 808. I'm a jammer for the All-Stars. I'm Fury Faye. I'm number 3. I have the distinction of being the oldest team member on skates right now at the age of 47, so you're never too old to do the sport.
Whoa.
I'm Shellnita Crutch. My number is 911. I'm primarily a jammer, and I've been skating for about 7 years.
Uh-oh.
My name is
an emergency.
My name is Kimmy Crippler. I'm a founding member of the league. I've been a part of it for 10 years, and my number is 87. That's all.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
How many was that? Was there 4 or 5 of you total?
There's 5 of us.
Oh, okay. Russ, did you catch a couple of those names?
Oh yeah, I was definitely paying attention.
Shellnita, Crutch, I like that. The 911. Did I hear? I did hear right. Slamus Iran.
Well, she couldn't make it tonight.
Okay.
She had something come up, but Fury Faye and Kimmy Crippler has filled in, and Johnny Knockin was the other name.
Huh.
I'm on their website, Russ, and these are by their images, their pictures. These are people that I would think I would just feel, I don't want to say more in, I would not be per se intimidated by these images, but
yeah, you would.
I would. Okay, no, I wouldn't. And so tell us, I mean, you ladies, how long has it been with the Derby City Rollers? How long have you all been going on?
We first formed in 2006, and we had our first playing season in 2007. We are a member of the Women's Flat Track Derby Association, which is our sports international governing body, and we are an internationally ranked team.
And when you say international, so how broad is this?
There are leagues on all 6 inhabitable continents.
Kevin, didn't you ever see the roller derby late at night? It was like on
I
Fox
did.
41.
Right. No, I have seen it,
yeah.
but I didn't know the how far, across the globe that it went.
That was on.
Now, go ahead.
Oh, it's changed a lot since then. That was played on a banked track, which is a track that is banked that you build. But in the early 2000s, a bunch of women got together. They wanted to play roller derby, but it's actually really difficult to play on a banked track. It requires a lot of money and space. So we created a game that could be played on the flat track. It had a very DIY spirit to begin with. So that's why it's the fastest growing women's sport in the world. And, we built it ourselves, and it continues to grow because of the athletes that created it. And the flat track is actually a more attainable thing for most people, and that's why it's grown so quickly.
Hopefully it's not quite as violent as it used to be either, because I remember fist fights breaking out almost every episode they had or something like that.
Yeah, we don't have fist fights. In fact, our governing body highly discourages it, and you can actually be expelled now.
I would think so, yeah.
It's very physical. People do get hurt and injured, but through our training committee, we make sure that the women stay safe and learn good skills and proper form. But you're on wheels,
So you fall, and you may fall really crazy and accidentally hit somebody or hurt yourself. But our goal is to be safe and to be good stewards of athleticism for our league and for our sport. But it can get pretty intense on that track. There's no doubt about that. When you accidentally get hit in the nose with the wrist guard, and then you're back up against those same people 2 minutes later, yeah, you're gonna put everything you got to get through and score some points on them. Yeah,
there's probably there's probably a little bit of a. They're going to get a receipt back from that their their elbow or
we would never have
whatever.
It's called revenge. That doesn't happen.
Hey, I know. Now, help me understand this. I'm on your website and I'm looking at the scores. I guess how is scoring determined?
So the object of the game, so you have 4 blockers from each team that are out on the floor, and you have one offensive player from each team who scores points. So you score a point based on the people you pass on the opposite team in the pack, which is the group of skaters we call blockers. A jam is 2 minutes long, or can be up to 2 minutes long. The way it works is the whistle blows, and then the jammers and the pack and the jammers are released to go. The jammers race to try to push their way out of the pack. All the while, there is a group of blockers trying to stop them from doing so by hitting them, by stall blocking them, things of that nature. The first one out of the pack legally is called lead jammer, which is an offensive advantage. She can choose to call the jam off at any time, or she can choose to not call the jam off. Or if neither jammer gets lead, then the jam goes for 2 minutes. All the while, for each pass, you could score up to 5 points. So it is a high-scoring game, which is kind of hard for your average sports fan to understand. Why do we score so many points? But it's because we're making probably 3 to 4 passes per jam, and we'll say in a 2-minute period or 2-minute jam of a 30-minute period, it's a lot of points, right? You can do the math.
Yeah,
and
a lot of math there.
You also get advantages if your opposing jammer commits a penalty and goes to the box, and then your blockers can then do offense for your jammer, and it's a little quicker way to grab some points, and it really adds up quickly.
And there are you spoke earlier about the old roller derby and how they would get fights and things like that. And in our rules, we have penalties. And part of that is to ensure that everybody is safe. And also those games were actually staged. Ours are real. So there are certain things that you can't do. You can't hit other people in the head. You can't block them below the knee. You can't go straight into the back of them. And there are certain places that you are only allowed to hit them with your body. So we're thinking your hips, your bottom, and then your shoulders. So there are rules of engagement, much like hockey, and they're not allowed to fight either, but they do. So but it's a very physical, full contact sport.
Also,
now,
when you
I'm
come
glad.
to a roller,
Yeah, go ahead.
when you come to a roller derby bout, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
We
go ahead.
We have a description of of how the game is played in our program, and then also we have a demo before the bout starts. So even though it sounds confusing now, it plays itself out before a bout, so you kind of have a better idea of what's going to happen, even if you don't totally understand the scoring part of it.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm glad one of you all, whoever it was, brought up the word staged, because I was going to go there, because the way when I was watching it back in the day, with no disrespect to what you guys are doing right now, to me I interpreted it as pro wrestling, on skates. That's how I saw that, and it was entertaining, but I did have this sense that there's when you say stage, so was it predetermined at within those that time frame? Was it to the point where it was like pro wrestling?
Yeah, back then it was. The games were all decided before they even started. They practiced fights and practice. All of that stuff you saw was practice. So, And I think the only relic that we kept from back then is the basic objects of the game, but also the names. We kept the names.
Right.
But other than that, everything else is real.
Like Kimmy said earlier, it's kind of comparable to hockey. They fight when they shouldn't. We don't do that. We have a little bit more composure, but you can compare it more to hockey or football, those types of legit sports where they're contact and they can be very aggressive, but it's a lot more regulated and none of it is staged or there's no script or, I've talked to some people who've done wrestling before and they say, well, do you at least know who's going to win? Everything else can come natural, but, is there someone who's supposed to win? And we don't predetermine that at all. Like whoever wins a bout is, it's organic. Whoever gets hurt, that's organic. Everything is natural. And the only thing we really practice is just strategy, both in keeping ourselves safe and how to do proper maneuvers.
Russ, can you? Oh, I'm sure. Russ, can you skate?
Oh yeah, I can skate.
Can you? Can
yeah, I can rollerblade or 4-wheel skate, either one. No, I'd be winded after about 3 times around the track. So I wouldn't even pretend to compete or to get in there with anybody that's a trained athlete. I would get demolished quickly.
Well, okay.
And Kevin, hey Kevin,
go ahead.
This is ReXXy.
Yes. Yes.
We are. The wonderful thing about roller derby is a lot of us are mothers and we work full time or go to school, but we also train 3 to 4 days a week outside of our practice schedule. I mean, we work really hard and doing what we do. A lot of us power lift. BearFit is one of our sponsors who we love. They take very good care of us. Lane from Modus Therapy takes very good care of us. He's here every Thursday helping us with injuries because everybody that's in this room has had an injury at some point in time. And, this sport, we love it. And we want people to come see it because we work so hard and we give it everything we have.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's another misconception that for both the audience or anyone who wants to come try it is that you can just come in and skate and, look good or, you just kind of come in to see something fancy. But we really have to work out hard outside of practice. We practice 2 to 3 times a week in the rink. And then we have to, practice we have to work out almost every day. It's a lot of strength training. It's a lot of powerlifting. That's some of us what we do, like ReXXy said. Or, yoga's good because you got to be flexible for this type of stuff. I mean, you really have to well-round yourself physically. And, when you're someone who is my size, I'm only 5'1". I have to hold my own against other people and I have to be strong. So I have to build, the speed and the strength to combat that. So it's a lot of hard work.
I hear you. Yeah, it's one of my next questions. When it comes to size-wise of the ladies involved in everything, give me a range? I mean, we talk in. You mentioned you were just 5'1", but what are you dealing with, on a given night from the physical standpoint?
There are women of all shapes and sizes that play this sport. We don't discriminate based on size. Size is actually not super important. Everybody is athletic in their own way. So it's hard to say what a typical night looks like because everybody is so different and brings something different to the table.
We also have like over 40 women in this league. And when you have that many women, coming from different backgrounds and who are different ages, that kind of adds to the variety of body sizes and, heights and whatnot. But for every body type there is, it comes with its advantages. So that's why it's a really great thing to have that in the sport. And, likewise, we can get more people interested in coming to play this when we say, it doesn't matter, because you played sports before or, if you're 6 foot tall or something like that, you can still do it.
We accept everybody. We encourage everybody. Like, you should come try it because that's what we did. We just came here and tried it, and most of us have been here for 6+ years because we love it so much.
I got to get out to one of these events. What is home? What is your home, location? Where do you play your home game?
Our home games are held at Champs on LaGrange Road, and they're usually the second Saturday of the month. And so that's where our home games are. And then we try to do at least one away game a month as well, sometimes two. So, we're going to give up at least during our game season, at least 2 weekends, if not 3 weekends a month to play the sport.
Yeah, come see us at Camps Roller Ground.
Yeah, our first
Yes,
game
definitely.
in January.
Is on your website, is the schedule up as far as your upcoming games?
We are actually finalizing our schedule right now.
Okay.
We're in training right now because we just started back. We went on off season for a little bit. So we're actually in the training part of our season from August to December, January-ish. We're anticipating a game in January, let me say that. But the schedule will not be finalized and on the website until December.
Do you all have do promos? I mean, with your names, some of your names, I just think you'd have to have some killer promo about you where you come on, you get in front of the camera, and you pull one of these, wrestling type promos. Do we have one? If you have one, give it to us.
Well, this is the part of I'm head of our PR and marketing, so we are actually developing that stuff during our training, like taking photos. We're going to be doing our team photos here soon. We're creating posters right now that are very awesome and designed by very talented people in our group. So, yes, we're working on promotional items, and if anybody's interested in promotion, they can contact me at PR and marketing, PR/marketing at derbycityrollergirls.com.
Russ, sounds like you and I need to plan a visit, a night together.
I'm all in.
We welcome you anytime. We practice on Mondays and Thursdays and Sundays, so just let us know.
Russ, if you were part of doing the roller thing and you had to come up with your own name, what would it be? Give me an idea.
I don't know. Probably.
Well, don't go cheesy.
Wreck-'em Russ. That's what it would be.
Wreck-'em. Oh, okay. It's not very I'm not dazzled, Russ.
We need some dazzle.
Yeah, we kind of have a lot of rackets right now also, so we might need to come up with something else.
Yeah,
Rip him a new asshole, Russ. How about that?
There you go. I like that one. That's good.
Just say that we also have River City Juniors. If anybody's interested that have it's co-ed, so it's 8 to 17-year-olds that are interested.
Oh. They
can contact me as well at PR and marketing, that email address I put out there earlier. We want all the people to come try the sport, so.
Well, you mentioned one of you said you were 47, which is incredible. What is the age group? What's the age range on this with you ladies?
So I'm 47 and we have 18-year-olds. So we have a very wide range. I've played with women that are in their 50s. So if you're healthy and strong and got good bones, you can continue to do the sport as long as you want. I'm 42, and I actually didn't even start playing until I was like 35. So it was kind of a scary thought to know that most people don't start a sport at that age. But I'd always loved skating, and I think that when I got here, everyone was so welcoming, and there were so many shapes and sizes and ages that I just knew that this was the sport for me, no matter what age I was.
And we also we have people
go ahead.
That
what was that?
If the physical aspect of the sport, but you love the sport, but the physical aspect of it just isn't for you, well, we have reffing as an option as well. We always could use refs. Refs are the backbone of our, we have to have refs to do the sport. So
we also have refs of all ages, too. One of our oldest is over 50, and then we have people that are, in their 20s.
Yeah, but the refs who's going to step in and break the fights up, so they're going to get, they're going to be in harm's way.
Well, there aren't really many fights.
They might get rolled over or rolled on or rammed into accidentally, but no, usually that's about as bad as it gets.
I was just kidding. I was just
rolled over or rammed in, Russ. Yeah, rolled over or rammed in, Russ. I think you ladies, I was gonna say rolled over or rammed in. You've got Russ's attention on several levels. Just saying. Yes, Russ. Russ.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we're here.
ReXXy, I'm gonna turn. Kevin, ReXXy, I'm gonna turn to you. Give us all your social media plugs as far as ways to connect with you, ladies.
Well, we have our webpage, DerbyCityRollerGirls.com. Like I said, we're in the process of updating that, and it's going to have all of our information locked down by December, and it'll have our new photos for this season. There's also, we have a Facebook page, we have Instagram, we have a Twitter. I think that's all of our social media connections.
Well, that's enough. And we'll do our part to keep promoting you ladies as well through our social media pages too. But this has been fun. I'm anxious to get to one of these events. I want to see it live and in person. So good luck, ladies. We'll see you down the road, and keep in touch as far as anything we can do to help promote you ladies. We'll do it.
All right, it sounds good. And once we get our game schedule finalized, we'll hook back up with you guys again. Maybe we'll do a podcast right before the bout or during the bout.
All right. Oh, there you go. I'm game for that. Thanks.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, ladies. Have a good
Thanks,
night.
Ladies.
We'll be in touch. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Russ, that's a totally different, thing for us. I've not experienced that. And like you said, I knew it back in the day from TV late at night, and I knew it to be, pro wrestling ish. So, and they acknowledge that.
Oh yeah, it was, I didn't know it was fake when I was, 13 when I first saw it. So I just thought, what in the hell is this? And, it was a little strangely arousing sometimes.
I agree. And just because that's who we are. So
somewhat confusing to a 13-year-old, though. You're 13, you're like, why does this turn me on? You're like, well, maybe because, it's all women. Maybe that's why. Yeah.
We're getting ready to go to our second segment, but I've got several topics I wanted to throw out at you. Actually, one of the things that was on TV, actually I think it was Labor Day, was the roast of Rob Lowe. Did you see that by chance? Because those roasts cracked me up. I'm a huge Jeff Ross fan, so.
Yeah, I
were you
love
able
the
to see?
I didn't get to see this one yet. I'm probably gonna pick it up on YouTube once everybody uploads it. Don't keep the Comedy Central, But I'll probably see it. But I've seen all the other ones, so I'm very familiar with it.
I want you to check this out. While I'm screening our guests, I'm gonna play this soundbite because one of the people part of the roast was Ann Coulter, and it's my understanding that the roastee, I guess Rob Lowe, is the one who invites who is going to be up there, doing the roasts, and then by them being part of it, they get in turn roasted by their fellow, the others on stage. But these were some of which to me, the fact that Ann Coulter was on just made her an instant target. One, she's obviously not a comedian, and her when she got up to do hers, it completely bombed, and it was bad. But here's some of the people when they were doing their shots at Ann. Check us out.
Last year we had Martha Stewart, who sells sheets, and now we have Ann Coulter, who cuts eye holes in them.
Looks like she's having a good time. I haven't seen you laugh this hard since Trayvon Martin got shot.
Ann Coulter is one of the most repugnant, hateful, hatchet-faced bitches alive. But it's not too late to change Ann. you could kill yourself.
Anne hopes the Republicans can hold on to the House so she can continue to haunt it. She seems stiff and conservative, but Anne gets wild in the sheets. Just ask the Klan.
Anne's against gay marriage. What's your thinking on that? If I can't get a husband, they shouldn't either?
Is Pete white? Is he black? Ann Coulter needs to know so she can decide if she hates him.
Why is Ann Coulter here tonight? Answer? Because the Right to Lifers wanted everyone to see what an abortion looks like up close. And you know, Ann, after seeing your set tonight, I think we've all witnessed the first bombing that you can't blame on a Muslim.
Oh, God.
It was brutal for her. I felt bad. It's because she won. She looked so out of place. And they were just taking shots at her right and left. And, and this was one of the weaker roasts, too. I've seen better. But, God. And
she's definitely going to fire her publicist on this one.
Oh, yeah. But supposedly, though, Rob Lowe invited her. So, they had a good idea on what was going to happen. It just didn't turn out too well for her. So
they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. So maybe people will buy her book.
Well, if that's the case, then she gets a lot of bad pub. She's gotten a lot of bad pub for many years. But her books do sell, and she is a personality, if you will, for the conservative party. So anyways, let's jump into our next segment, Russ. One of my buddies, Chase Skinner, he's got a gig coming up. Pull this gig up. They are opening up. His band is opening up for Bret Michaels, the former frontman of Poison, one of my favorite hair bands back in the day, and to help promote the event, because it's coming up. It's Thursday, September 29th, so it's a little over 2 weeks away. But we've got a couple of the guys who's part of his band coming on, and we get to actually, Russ, let's do our own roasting of these guys. We've got Erik, and I'm hoping to say it's right, McEwen, and Jesse Mefford. Erik, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Going. And Jesse.
Hey,
Jesse
what's
the
up?
Body. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. I was told by Chase to, let you guys give it to you guys, and so Russ, let's haze them like we normally do. The first time people. So
nice.
Erik, share us, what's the Erik story? How long you been playing, and how did you and Chase connect?
I've been playing, I don't know, about 20 years. Been lucky to play with a lot of great guys over the years. Played with guys like Rockadelic, some of the guys from the Big Rock Show, and Tart Bus, and then I was lucky to play with the Predators, played with Soul Circus, Front Porch Prophets, and Dennis Irvin. So I was lucky to be able to make my way around Louisville and play with a lot of great guys. I met Chase at a gig. He was playing one stage, I was playing another, and hung out, shot the shit with him, and then got a call from him next week. It just sounded like a great fit for me.
Chase is a likable guy. He's very, very cool guy, and
pretty much pretty gregarious, isn't he?
Yeah. But so, is it safe to say, Erik, you've been Louisville all your life?
Yeah, I've played in Louisville. I've moved a couple times, but I've always just played here in Louisville. I came running back every time I moved away. This place is great.
It is, and the chicks are free, right?
That's right, man.
All right, Jesse, what's the Jesse story?
Oh man, my story would be I've been playing since I was a little guy, man, probably about 5 years old, self-taught. Grew up in Louisville, playing with I say when I really first got into the main scene, it was with a band called The Constant back in the early 2000s, with a couple of guys that I knew from high school, and that kind of turned into something a couple years later. Some of the same members turned into a band that was pretty well known on Heaven Hill. And then, I don't know, it's kind of one of those things, man, where, you play with some people, you get to know other people in that same band, and then you kind of branch off and do other things. And I kind of moved out of the rock scene for a while, went into the country scene, and played with a pretty good big guy around town called Artie Dean. I played with his band, Artie Dean Harris, in Bourbontown for a couple of years. And played with a band called Nova Red a while back ago. And just kind of came around to, meeting Chase, just through meeting other people. And me and him tried something a couple of years ago, man, just couldn't really find the right fit, for what we were wanting to do. And then I get a call a while back ago from Chris Kerr, who's the guitar player in this project, and said, "Hey, man, this is what's going on. We could really use a drummer. If you're interested, why don't you come and give it a shot?" And it's kind of where we are right now. So working with some really talented guys, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with it.
So have you actually gigged with Chase yet? Is this going to be, how new are you with him?
I'm pretty new with it, man. I have not played a gig out with him yet. I know that he's been doing his acoustic thing and solo thing for a little while, and really excited for everyone to, hear what this full band has created, to back him up. And, it's going to be a first for a lot of people, not just myself.
Now, is it the full band going to be doing the Bret Michaels thing?
Yes.
All right. Very cool. What's I'll start with Erik. Have you been a fan? Are you a fan of Bret Michaels?
Well, of course. I mean,
and if so,
they're talking about Champs on the last segment.
Yeah.
And I remember going to skating parties at Champs listening to Poison.
Champs.
This is huge. And then the Rock of Love.
Russ,
come on. I mean, that guy went through it, man. I mean, come on, he's an icon.
Yeah.
And then we get to see him in this really cool, intimate setting. It's once in a lifetime. And we get to open up for the guy.
And you get to open up for the guy. Can you imagine, seriously, Russ, the chicks that are going to be there that night for Bret Michaels? Is that something
that's going to be ridiculous.
All from the 80s,
would it be? A lot of chicks. I bet you back in the day, they all had their hair, and that's. I think for the night, I wonder if they should just pull that off.
So we're talking MILFs and GILFs here, right?
Russ, did you tear it up at back in the day at Champs roller skating to?
Well, no, I was a South End boy down here in Hillview, so we went to Skate Rama down there on Preston Highway. So yeah, I didn't get Champs. I've always heard of Champs, but I never made it to Skate Rama out there in Hillview. Was pretty much if I was going to strap the wheels on.
I used to jam skate all the time, man, and they put the spotlight on me and tell me to slow down.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did it work?
Nope.
Did it? No,
nope.
It didn't.
made me go faster.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, Erik, have you actually played with Chase yet?
Yeah, I've done some of his acoustic shows with him. So, it's a good chance for us to get a good feel for each other.
Very cool. The local music scene here, what's your all's take? Because, I do on our Wednesday night, I do a Wednesday night podcast too, where it's 100% dedicated to local musicians or venues. They come on and just shoot it and have a good time. And what I have found, in my opinion, is that the local music scene here is very in good shape. That there's a lot of talented people. There's a lot of good music. There's a lot of people that are doing their own thing, creating, some good original music as well. I mean, I'll start, Erik. What's your take with the local music scene?
I think Louisville is the hotbed for music and probably has been for a long time. I mean, from metal to indie to blues and groove music, like a funk town. And to be honest, there's a lot of good hip hop artists and electronic artists too. I mean, they're
that's
all
a
over
good point. Yeah.
It's very creative around here. And we're lucky in Louisville to be able to to have the community that actually goes and makes a point to support live music. And I just wish to be honest, I wish there was more venues. Okay, so 20 years ago, every place had live music.
Yeah. And, back in the day, I've heard all the great Toy Tiger stories and, all those old venues. And it was like, back in the day, how much has social media had an impact, has an impact with what you guys are either accomplishing now or not accomplishing? Because, back in the day, there wasn't, you had to go, I guess either the radio stations or, guys that were in bands back in the day had to go with their, staple guns, blast the telephone poles with all these posters and stuff. But how has, playing music for so long, how has social media had an impact for you guys?
Well, it's made it cheaper. That's for sure.
Yeah,
you don't have to buy 500 flyers and have them designed, and then get your big poster board press kit and take it to a club, and then go promote your own show. I mean, it makes it a lot better now, at least in my experience.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, I'm kind of the old school man. The social media thing is not really big for me, but I miss being able to, I got to get out to Bardstown Road and try to put my flyer in every window and on every telephone pole, just to feel like you actually accomplished doing something, for your band. But, it is much easier now to just be able to click on something and send it out to 1 million people within, the snap of a finger, which, I think it's got its pros and its cons.
Oh, I agree. Russ, I mean, back in the day, how much have you, we promote the local musicians quite a bit with our shows. For you, Russ, did you get to spend, in the, last 10, 15 years, chance to go out and see live music?
Yeah. I've been to several concerts. My buddy, I actually got to go to Garth Brooks free, and my buddy got so drunk that he said, let's buy a set of tickets to the next concert. There was like 2 that night, so he tried to get me to go to it twice. But no, yeah, I love live music. I mean, my favorite, like my all-time favorite, even bigger than a big show, is just acoustic guitar music. A couple of guys, a couple of vocalists just sitting around playing acoustic guitar and at a little bar on the beach or, down in Destin, Florida or something like that. I love that, just sitting around listening to anybody playing live.
So are you saying that you don't need to listen to it? You don't need the drummer for what you really want to do, Russ?
Well, the drummer's an important part, especially if you're getting out there trying to, dance with the ladies and all that stuff to keep time. But if you're just drinking a margarita on the beach, he is kind of expendable if you're drinking a margarita on the beach, I guess. But
sorry.
Sounds like Russ wants to see Chase Skinner and Dustin.
Yeah.
Oh man. No, that's right, man. Without the drummer, man, those girls ain't dancing.
Yeah,
that's true.
If you want to get laid, you better have a drummer there. That's all I'm saying. Or a lot of margaritas.
Yeah. If you want to see asses shake, you need the drummer there. That gets the asses up.
That's why we have Jesse.
So exactly, Jesse. Jesse's the token ass shaker for the band. So.
I heard a pretty offensive joke from a drummer one time. He goes, he said, what sits on 3 legs and hangs out with a bunch of musicians? And he said the drummer, but I thought that was a pretty harsh joke coming from a drummer.
All right. This is part of the segment where we call Round of Shots. It's a 6-question answer type thing, just a quick thing to get to know you guys better. So play along. We'll have some fun with it. Start with Jesse. Jesse, what was the first concert you attended?
John Mellencamp.
No. Good one. But you, Erik, your first concert?
Michael Jackson.
Really? Oh. Russ, I don't think we've heard a Michael Jackson answer to that question.
Hey,
first album I bought, the first concert I went to, the first bass lines I learned, all Michael Jackson.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Cool.
It's pretty strong.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. All right, Erik, if you could have a superpower, what would it be?
It either be flying or being invisible. I can't nail it, man. I kind of want to fly.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to be invisible. I mean, I can't, man. I've been struggling with it, man. You can tell it's on my mind.
I can tell. A lot of sleepless nights going on with you.
You're telling me, man.
Yeah. Jesse, what about you?
Oh man, that's a tough one, man. It has to be just one.
Just one. Our budget only allows for one. So
I'm gonna have to go with X-ray vision.
Oh.
Yeah, you do.
I like that one. Yeah.
And I have complete control over it too. It's not all the time. It's when I want it.
It's when you want it. I can appreciate that. Now check this out, Russ. I on our Wednesday night show, it's musicians. I asked the same question. If you could have it to someone, I said, if you could have a superpower, what would it be? He didn't hear. He thought I said, who would it be instead of what will it be? So when I asked the question and I'm asking who would or what would it be, his answer in a blink was Russia. And I was like, Russia? What are we talking? What do you? What's that superpower? And you said, and he goes, well, you said if I could have a superpower, who would it be? And I was like, no, not who. What? So from that night on, Russ, I have officially retired that question because of the fact that he gave me Russia as his superpower, not the U.S.
Yeah,
mind you that Russia. I retired.
Well,
that
I mean,
question
plus, I mean, Russia should be the third choice anyway because China's got way more money now.
Exactly.
So, it's not freezing cold everywhere in China. So I would give him an F just for not picking China.
Yeah, and the fact that they are the ones who are responsible basically for snapping together all of our iPhones and iPads and all the gadgets that we do. Yeah, so,
all the greatest things.
All the greatest things for about what 25 cents an hour. Anyways, I'm going. Never mind. All right, let's see. Jesse, what was the last picture you took with your phone? Be honest.
Oh, geez, man, my little boy.
Oh, it's a good fatherly answer. What about you, Erik? You got a TMZ moment for us here?
I think last picture, probably a shot of bourbon.
You took delicious. You took a picture of the shot. What made that shot so special?
It was scrumptious, dude. I mean, what do you want me to say? It's bourbon. I mean, it's always good.
Okay. All right. what was the
landmark event?
Okay. Well, all right. Russ is a bourbon connoisseur, so impress Russ. What was the brand bourbon that you shot?
It was just a Four Roses single barrel. It was delicious, well balanced, oaky, nice.
Nice. You cannot go wrong with Four Roses. They got your OESKs, your OBOs, and all kinds of different kind of blends. But they're all pretty awesome.
See, Jesse has his little boy, and I have bourbon.
Exactly.
Well, I think Kevin was looking for something more like, I just took a picture of my wiener and sent it to some chick on Tinder. That's what he was looking for. But,
No, I was. Why would you think I would want to know? Yeah, no, Russ. That's not. I was hoping it would be like took a picture of my wife or girlfriend, that kind of thing. Not why would you even bring up wiener, Russ?
Well, no, because I know how you think, man. I'm just putting you on blast.
All right. Let's see, Erik. What's your favorite phone app?
Oh man, Angry Birds 2 right now, man. I'm crushing it.
What?
I'm telling you, dude.
I gave up on that one, man.
No, man. It's killer, dude. Just invest.
I got to level 20, man. I couldn't get past it.
Oh, bro, I'll help you out.
Oh, you're going to have to. I can't get the brick. That brick won't fall down and smash that little green pig.
God, I'm giving these guys every opportunity for some great sound bites, and they're killing me. Jesse, what's your favorite phone? What's your favorite phone app?
Oh man, I still have a flip phone, so I don't have apps.
Boom.
Oh, hey, I like that.
Wait a minute, Kevin. Is there an app for not having apps? Is there an app for that?
An app for that. If so, I think Jesse would have it. It appeared.
I'm still on my razor, man.
I can dig that. There is a reason, Russ. You would probably know this. A lot of people who maybe push the limits of the law, still use flip phones. What's the rhyme and reason for that, Russ? Do you know?
Yeah, one is that they can't use global positioning to find you. They would have to triangulate off of pings to the cell tower. I mean, obviously you don't watch enough spy and crime movies to understand this, Kevin, but what they do here is if you're committing a crime, you got your location services at least turned on for some apps. So if your location services are turned on for any app, that means they can find you, pinpoint you down for GPS, satellite positioning. But if you have
Dang, Russ, you gotta talk.
Yeah. If you got the flip phone razor, then they got to do that thing where they say, okay, we got them pinged on one tower, and then they ping you on another tower, and that kind of gives them a 2D representation of where you are. But if they ping you on a third tower, then they can say, okay, we can triangulate their position and find them right here, which is a lot harder to do than just GPS, obviously.
Wow. Dude,
so obviously, yeah. So obviously, Jesse, after he finishes his podcast, is going to coordinate some kind of a deal with someone at the bad part of Louisville, and he'll be good to go with his phone, right? Is that what you're saying, Russ?
Well, if the feds are onto him and they got one of those lunch trucks full of agents following him, they're going to have a harder time catching him. That's what I'm saying.
All right, Jesse, we're on to something. Or the fact that
that's pretty impressive.
Or the fact that Jesse, you've just incriminated yourself. Either way. So. All right. Let's see. Erik, did you say your favorite phone app? No, you didn't.
Yeah, man. I'm kind of ashamed of it, really.
What? No, that was the Angry Bird. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Russ, what's your favorite phone app, Russ?
Favorite phone app? Well, I don't know. I don't really get it. I don't play the games anymore. Does like X videos count as an app? I don't know, something like
that. They do in our book, Russ. Said we'll leave with that. All right, let's see. Who's is it? Jesse's. Yes, Jesse's turn. Jesse, is it better to ask for permission or beg for forgiveness?
Oh man, I say beg for permission.
Or ask for permission is what you
Ask for permission.
Right. Yeah. Are you married?
Yeah, I am married.
Okay, well then that explains it. Erik?
That wasn't where my explanation was gonna go, but yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Erik, what's your ask for permission or beg for forgiveness?
I'll beg for forgiveness every time. At least you still get to do what you wanted to do.
At least. Russ,
but I'm divorced. So
well, yeah, exactly. So I'm in your boat too. Now, Russ, I guess being the Mr. Griswold these days, I guess you ask for permission first, don't you?
It depends. Russ. If it's something, if you know the answer, John Prine once said, a question is not a question if you know the answer first. So if I know what the answer is going to be and I really want to do it, then I'm going to, ask for forgiveness, obviously. But if it's something where I know the answer is going to be yes, then I'll, ask for permission to create the guise that I am the type of guy who asks for permission.
Well said. Good.
Yeah.
Good advice. All right, let's see. Erik, if you had access to a time machine and could go anywhere in the past, your living past or pre-birth past, anywhere in time, where would you go?
Oh man, that's tough. Woodstock, the last night, Flying the Family Stone, playing at like 2:00 in the morning.
Oh well, staying with the music thing. What about you, Jesse?
Erik, that was a great answer, man.
Well, it was better than Taco, but did not want to eat Taco Bell last night.
Yeah. It's. I think it would be quite interesting to go back and see what the hell was going on before I was even around. if my time machine was capable of going that far, that's what I would do.
Oh yeah, well, your time machine you can go anywhere.
Yeah,
one of my favorite answers, and Russ has got a good one every time. But one of my favorite all-time answers is this, and Russ, I know I've said this a time or two, and I'll say it again. Russ said that he would go back to when Jesus was being crucified, but he would be packing with all these assault rifles and stuff and mow down all those Romans and look Jesus in the eye and say, okay, now I saved you. Now what?
Oh, wow.
See? Yeah, that's pretty
I'm
deep.
your savior now.
So that's my point. You can go anywhere. And Russ, Russ is talking about changing.
Last night.
I said that one mainly just because that's how my demented mind works, and I know that it makes, sometimes Kevin will have people on that will make real uneasy when I say, I'm your savior now.
Wasn't too easy on this end, man, but it's cool.
They cringe up. Some people cringe up in fear when they hear that story.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to pray for his soul come this weekend at church. All right, cool. That's the round of shots. It wasn't 4 roses, but Russ, are you sipping on any bourbon tonight?
No, not tonight. I went to a little beer tasting up at our local Middletown liquor barn and had a few stouts and stuff like that. So, I don't like to chase big, heavy beers with bourbon. That never works out too good in the morning.
In the morning. After Taco Bell. Do you mix your bourbon with Taco Bell, Russ?
Man, I tell you what, even in some of my drunken stupors nowadays, I think twice about, one time I went to the White Castles and ordered a jalapeno cheese on my White Castle. Don't ever do that drunk. That is a bad move. Not because of what it tastes like going down, but obviously that's coming
it
back
burns
out.
coming out.
It's
it
a lot
burns
angrier
coming out
on the way out.
Angry.
You get used to it.
You get blowing up your butthole. All right. Erik, share with us what's in your immediate future. I know you got the big event with Chase and the band at Diamonds for the Bret Michaels thing, but what else have you got going on?
Well, we're going to Nashville soon. We can't really give dates or any details about it yet. We're going to announce it soon, but it's going to be a big showcase in Nashville on Broadway, and we're looking forward to that. I think that's what we're really going to focus on for right now.
Okay. What about you, Jesse? Same, or you got other projects you're working on?
I have a cover band called My Pet Octopus. We play a lot of 80s rock and early 90s rock. Cool. And other than that, man, that's all I really got going on. And we got a show coming up on October 8th, which is International Octopus Awareness Day or something like that. So got that going on. And a whole gig with Chase and the Bret Michaels. And it's going to be a really good week. It'll be fun.
Cool. Very
International
cool.
Octopus Awareness Day. Wait a minute.
Something like that, man.
Look it up.
Celebrate it.
That's like
we booked the gig. We booked the gig, and then it just so happened to land on that date, so it kind of works out. So, yeah.
Now, is that before or after Squid Day?
That is after Squid Day.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. It must have been after Squid Day. I couldn't remember.
How are we going to celebrate Squid Day?
Yeah, we need a reason to. Yeah. How do we?
I mean, if you're any kind of band at all, it's going to be Rips Off the Bong. I don't know.
I love it. Now, Erik, are you besides Chase, right? Yeah. Besides Chase, Erik, are you working with any other bands right now?
Man, I'm having some fun with some friends. I got a hip hop cover group called the G-Funk Era that we're working
for
on
real
right now. But that's just man. But that's just fun stuff. Yeah. I mean, my main focus is Chase Skinner and seeing where we can go with this guy. He's a brilliant songwriter. He's great talent. Yeah. And I want to put as many eggs in that basket as I can.
Now, I heard
cool.
that the G-Funk era was funked out with a gangster twist. Is that true?
Yeah, you know it, man. You all see my hair.
Oh, Nate Dogg and Warren G shout out there. The G-Funk era funked out to a gangster twist.
Well, they had to get it.
We cover all.
So I'm glad they could call it.
Yeah, we cover all the food groups on this show, so nothing, no rock that will not turn over. All right, guys, Erik, Jesse, thanks for coming and hanging out with us tonight. I wish you luck, and I'm gonna connect with you guys at a gig very soon. Much love, good luck, and let's stay in touch and get you guys back on.
Sounds great, Kevin. Thanks a lot for having us, buddy. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks
a
lot.
Thank you. All right, have a good night. Thanks. Russ, giving the local guys some love. I like doing that. Good stories. So, oh yeah. All right, we're wrapping up our show here, but I got a couple of quick topics to throw at you. Let's see. One thing I have to share with you, and you were aware of this. I did a Facebook post where, and I got a lot of flack for it from, friends, and some are true friends that gave me comments, and then some where I just happened to be friends on Facebook, and they enlightened me, shared with me their 2 cents on their thoughts with the post. But in a nutshell, I had been a little critical of. I had posted something in regards to a church demanding a victim of a sexual assault by the pastor, a pastor there. The church wanted the victim and their parents to apologize to the church for what went down, and that just set me off on a deep end. And some people said, no, that's not true, blah blah blah, and all the research that I have done indicates that it was true, that the church did demand this, did want this to happen. And through that post, I got a lot of comments, either pro-church or pro-Christian, or those that was just, kind of felt the same way I did, and, as far as the Christian / cult thing that I see as, and then someone had messaged me on my inbox that they had to unfriend me and stop following my podcast due to my quote unquote religious beliefs, or in this case, my lack of. What's you got kind of jumped in on some of the conversations, and you saw some of the comments that were made by people. Is it am I too far, or am I asking too much to challenge people to put science, use science, use common sense rather than beliefs? And some of their comments back was, I'd rather believe and be wrong than not believe in, that kind of thing. So, reiterate, what's in a nutshell, when it comes to this whole, in this case, the church demanding the victim to apologize. If you had any connection with that family, what would have been the advice for that family?
As far as the victim?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Obviously, to put them on blast and sue the shit out of them would be the first advice. But it's just it's just people not wanting. The whole point of religion is for people not to want to be accountable for the some of the bad shit they've done. Because instead of someone who believes in that doctrine, that Christian doctrine basically says, hey, no matter how bad I've done, if I could go out and kill somebody, or if I have in my past, I guess they have rules on willingly and then breaking it again, and then I don't know. It's all a big gray area. It's all a bunch, just a bunch of hooey on that end. But basically, there's no accountability. It's like I can do what I could have done whatever, ask for forgiveness, be forgiven, and it doesn't matter if the people that I offended forgive me because some invisible man in the sky forgives me. So it's called scapegoating. I mean, that's the whole thing. So in this particular situation, rather than upset the church or hurt the church because they think that they're it's a means to an end to protect all this what they built there, even if they have to lie, it's just another they're perfectly willing to do that because they think it's for some greater good, or they've convinced themselves it's for some greater good when it's only for their own specific special interest. It's just it's just the whole thing is when you predicate something on something that has no proof and is just speculation or feelings that people have, then there's going to be other nonsense that follows it. I mean, you can't, anything based on a lie is going to be, it's going to have people who misuse it. I mean, some people don't. Some people just use it for, whatever they use it for, strength, confidence, meaning, some kind of meaning, and that's fine. But some people use it for very bad reasons.
I agree. And, actually, I posed this one question to a couple of people, either on that thread or in my inbox as I was going back and forth with some people, is that the Noah's Ark, do people truly believe in that story? One, the fact that they could pull off by building such a huge ark. And two, they sincerely believe that Noah or whoever truly had two of each animal species on that boat. Come on.
The only people who actually believe in that are doing so out of tradition, obligation, or fear. And so they're either it's just because their parents did it. I mean, there was somebody on your Facebook there that said, because and I've heard the same thing. Actually, my people in my family have said the same thing. Well, I was raised that way, and it's what I believe, and not because I was raised that way. Well, Christopher Hitchens said that if children were allowed to wait to the age of reason, until they were 15, 16, 17 years old before people pushed religion on them, then the world would be quite a different place. There would be a lot fewer religious people if people didn't, tell them those stories since they were little kids to help plant a seed in their head. Lots of people grow up and see past it anyway and say, oh, wait a minute here. This is something out of a book that was written 2,000 years ago, and you don't know any more than I do, the validity of this book. They just, they have a need to believe something, like, you've often professed, they're born in America. The only choice is this, basically, if you're in most cultures in America. And so they're like, okay, I'll go with this. I feel something. So this fits the bill. When if you were born in, China, you'd be Buddhist. If you were born in the Middle East, you'd be Muslim. If you're born in India, you'd be Hindu. It doesn't matter where you were born. You're going to have that same little feeling that every other person has, and you're going to attribute it to whatever is closest and, most accessible.
Mm-hmm. Good take. What's your take, Russ, with, I don't need to know your take, but you're familiar with the, in this case, the state of North Carolina, their House Bill 2 that they passed, the law that, prevents cities, counties, whatever, from passing protections based on sexual orientation and gender. You're familiar with that, right?
Yeah. So it's in Kentucky. I haven't kept up with it.
Well, no, actually, in this particular case, North Carolina, because North Carolina, what has happened with them, because a lot of non-conservatives don't agree with it. As a result, they, a lot of music acts, decline to play events there, gigs there. They recently lost the NBA, decided to move the All-Star game, which was, I think, set for next year. They took the game away, and they moved it from Charlotte to, I think it was New Orleans, but whatever. But and today it was announced that the NCAA, their first 2-round games that were designated to be in Greensboro, they're removing, or they're not going to play those games there after all now. because of this bill.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I agree. What's your take when it comes to, clearly, did the state not do their homework to think that, what's the ramifications of this? Because, these two sporting events were going to be huge for the state of North Carolina. Actually, the NBA All-Star Game, they said it was going to be like $180 million revenue for that weekend. And, obviously you're talking millions of dollars too for NCAA first and second round games that were going to be played there. I personally like the fact that, that these sports leagues and people, the sports people who are backing out. But yeah, it is awesome. But I guess what blows me away is that did someone possibly not do the homework and said, what are the ramifications? What are these big events that we have coming up in the next 5 years that we potentially are going to miss out on? Did they not think that there was going to be this type of?
They were just too. They were too egotistical to see it. That'd be my guess. They were just too. They thought, well, you got these people they got these what they think are their values and traditions, and they're not anymore. They're not for the majority of America. They are for some of the flyover states. Even cities like Louisville and Lexington are getting more progressive in stuff and just using common sense. It's people will allow tradition or some kind of religious belief to actually trump common sense, which is just ridiculous. It's what I go off on. It's like states like North Carolina are the reasons why that type of ideology is why we don't have more medical breakthroughs with stem cell research and things that are just in cities like New York, Chicago, San Francisco, even Dallas and big cities in like Austin and Texas. This more progressive ideology is just the norm in more educated cultures. In less educated cultures, it's not the norm, and it's gonna as education continues to rise and the information goes out to everyone on the planet and the internet. Same things have happened over in the Middle East with the Arab Spring. It's like people started talking and talking about their situations, getting more information, and they were like, "Hey, the government is screwing us." So they revolted. Same thing.
Yeah, I'm actually. Yeah, besides the men's basketball first and second round games, I'm looking at what else was impacted, and this is kind of it's kind of cool that, or in my view, but the state is clearly losing out. The 2016 Division I Women's Soccer Championship, which obviously, for people who are in soccer, it's a big deal. The Division III Men's and Women's Soccer Championships, obviously the basketball we just talked about, Women's Golf Championships, Tennis Championships, lacrosse, and baseball, all Division I and II tournaments that were going to be played or scheduled to be played in the next year or so in North Carolina have all been canceled and will be going to a different venue. Pretty neat.
What the even a brighter silver lining for me and you is, don't you?
What's that?
Less recruits for the Tar Heels and the Blue Devils.
Yeah.
All right. North Carolina, yeah. Duke and North Carolina look like a great place to go to school, but and the new fresh crop of 18-year-olds who are very progressive minded are like, damn, I probably would have went there and played, but they're so backwards. Let's go to Kentucky instead because they're a little more forward thinking anyway.
I agree. One of my last, I like talking controversial stuff with you, but one of the things I saw recently, and this issue or this situation has come up several times in the court of law, where I'm just being a straight shooter here. If there's one thing the United States is good at, is incarcerating young black males. That's just, to me, it's not a stereotype. It's a fact. It's a fact. Now, I do have a problem, clearly have a problem. I do think when it comes to a crime, that the severity of the crime has to trump, no pun intended, Donald Trump, has to supersede any race, religion. It's the crime. And one of the things that has been alarming in the last year or so is these women who have fallen victim to rapes. Some of these where, at college campuses or whatever, where the victim has been unconscious and the attacker is a young white male who seemingly gets little to no time for their crime. And it's not that they were convicted. It's not that they were not convicted. They were found guilty of crimes, but truth is like the kid in Stanford who got 6 months, but I think he only had to serve 3 because of quote unquote good behavior. And then, the fact that the judge just gave him 6 months was, to me, embarrassing. And then there's a judge in Canada, this is per CNN, is facing removal from the bench when he asked a woman in a rape case, why couldn't she, quote unquote, just keep her knees together? What am I missing here, Russ? I'm actually at the point where these white judges, could they fall? When they're hearing the X and O's and the stories that are being told of these events, this rape, are these judges? Are they kind of, in a sense, mentally siding with the attacker, or are they? It's just like it's almost like, to me, it's like it's getting off on this in some crazy, sick way. For a judge to say just keep her knees together, or a judge only slap a white kid, with a few months because his father spoke up and said, why would you punish my son 20 years for something he did wrong and for 20 minutes? Well, so, we have daughters too. So, maybe we're not going to, answer it.
It's a double-edged sword here. I'll answer in the most straightforward, in the most straightforward, realistic way possible. Reality Russ. So here we go. It's obviously there are some people. You gotta keep in mind, we're talking about a whole country of 300 million people here. So we hear the cases we mostly hear about are the ones that have had some kind of misappropriation of authority. So yeah, a judge that says something like, couldn't you just? Of course, there probably isn't very many good context that could come in, but we don't know the whole context of that, but it sounds like the judge was, what's called victim shaming or victim blaming, and that's terrible. But on the flip side, and there's going to be, a few of those cases, and there's going to be, it's going to seem like there's more than there are because they're going to shed a lot of light on that, which they should shed light on it. But, if there's 3 cases like that in a year, or I'm sure there's many more, but if there's 3 cases in a year, they're going to shed a whole lot of light on it. And on the flip side, you have to be careful, because much like the Duke lacrosse thing, where all those kids were found innocent, because someone tried to either get a payday or become famous or whatever. People say, oh, nobody would want to become famous like that. Well, that's not true. There are some sick people out there that would want to become famous, regardless of the situation. So you got, there's been several, and there's instances where at Berkeley, a long time ago, back in the mid 90s, there was a kid that was studying in his room at his frat house, and a girl that had been drinking stumbled into his room, proceeded to kind of come on to flirt with him and come on to him. They end up, hooking up that night. They woke up the next morning. She stayed the night, woke up the next morning. They exchanged numbers. And a day or so later, she decided to go to the dean of colleges and press rape charges on him because she said she was too intoxicated to consent. And they kicked him off campus. He lost his status at the university. Couldn't be a student anymore. Expelled. So and now that's bullshit. I mean,
right.
that's why you got laws in California. Like instead of no means no, now it's yes means yes, which, if you're a student on a California campus, I mean, I don't know whose responsibility it is. Obviously, it's the boy's responsibility to get a yes for anything that happens. I mean, if the girl just wants to do whatever, I mean, apparently, I mean, because it begs the question, and on the whole yes thing, who has to get the yeses? I mean, do everybody have to get yeses, or if it's a gay couple, does the masculine one have to get a yes? I don't care if it's men or women. Sometimes there's a masculine one, and does that one have to get the yes, or what?
Mm-hmm. Oh well, look at it that way. I'm still on this article with it's the Canadian judge, and here's more. It's just not. First of all, his comment about just keep her knees together was not the only quote. Crazy quote he had. Now, the 19-year-old woman said she was raped over a bathroom sink during a house party. So according to records of the trial, the judge asked her why she couldn't skew her pelvis or push her bottom into the sink to avoid penetration. And that's when he asked, why couldn't you just keep your knees together? And then, he's like, wait a minute, on the subject of sex in general and sex with young women in particular, he said, the judge, young women want to have sex, particularly if they're drunk. This is the judge. And then during the trial also, same trial, he's quoted as saying, some sex and pain sometimes go together. That's not necessarily a bad thing. And in this case, this judge ultimately acquitted the guy charged with the crime. And then told him, this is his last parting words for the guy. I want you to tell your friends, your male friends, that they have to be far more gentle, with women. They have to be far more patient, and they have to be very careful to protect themselves. They have to be very careful. And needless to say, the verdict was overturned on an appeal. There's a new trial scheduled for November, and this judge is facing, removal. So, odd. Yeah. Let's see. Gary Johnson, who I thought might have been a very good option. Actually, I think he's a better option than Hillary and the Donald. Did you hear about his snafu when he was asked about Aleppo? Did you catch that?
No.
Do you know what Aleppo is?
I have heard it and have had it explained from the TV, but at this late night quasi-sleepy day, I cannot remember.
It's fine. We're wrapping. Aleppo is the thing in Syria. Where, long story short, I guess it's part of this genocide or these mass graves that were located in Syria or something. And he was being questioned by, I want to say some reporter, and he was asked about if you were elected, what would you do about Aleppo? And his response was, and what is Aleppo? And then the MSNBC guy responded with, you're kidding. So it was like, some people thought that was his, with the Syria refugee crisis, that he should have known as a presidential candidate, should have known what Aleppo was. So,
yeah, there's no question. That's a Sarah Palin moment right there. I mean, it's
exactly.
It's okay for guys like you and me not to know. Be fresh in the mind what Aleppo is.
I didn't know. I didn't know what it was.
Somebody who's wanted to play on a I'd heard the name. I knew it was like a city somewhere in the Middle East. I I just didn't know, what the consequences. Because you hear, if you'd have said Benghazi, I would have been like, okay, yeah, I know what Benghazi is. Or, you say, even Kandahar. I mean, I would have known that was like a city in Iraq. Or what's the one, the one in the German prison where they took the pictures of everybody stacked up naked and stuff. What was that called? That's a name like that too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
I agree.
Yeah, he should. If you're gonna play on a world stage like the president, for a president of the United States, you have to be held to some kind of higher standard when it comes to knowledge, especially. That's why, another reason I think I can guarantee you, Trump doesn't, as a rule, keep up with information in world politics, for his day-to-day life. So the only reason he would know what Aleppo was is because he hired a team to make sure he's briefed on shit like that.
And that's, down the road. If that's, I actually don't have any problem with it. I mean, I do think the president should know a little bit about a lot of things. They don't need to know a lot about everything, but they have to surround themselves with the right people. So anyways. Anything tonight, Russ, that you didn't get to talk about that you wanted to before I let you go?
No, I think I'm pretty chill.
Chill. All right. Solid show tonight. We had our Derby City Roller Girls. We had Erik and Jesse from the Chase Skinner Band. We had our reality report from Russ time. All right, Russ. Have a good night. We'll connect this week. We've got a cornhole thing to work out. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Feel me? Yeah. All right, bro.
All right, buddy.
Have a good night. Thanks.
I'll see you in a sec.
All right, Russ signing off before I shut it down tonight. Again, tonight, this podcast was brought to you in part by the County Line, the last honky tonk bar in Louisville, managed by Chris Lucien. County Line is located at 1891 Old Preston Highway in Hillview. Bourbon, beers, billiards. $2 ice cold domestics, $3 Jim Beam maple, honey, and fire. They do the karaoke thing every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to midnight. This coming Friday, September 16th, the band Six Ways to Sunday. Saturday, September 17th, Allan Craig and the Nashville Machine. Those guys will be doing it up this coming weekend. Again, the County Line, 1891 Old Preston Highway in Hillview. For Russ, I'm Kevin Hale, signing off, bidding you a good night and a pleasant Tuesday. Peace out, Louisville.
At no time were any animals or people hurt during this presentation of Shooting from the Lip.